Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, Little Miss Alaska Prepper and myself are headed to a place called Birch Hill, which is a skiing and tubing place that's on base on Fort Wainwright. I thought that on our way there, we'd have a little talk. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the comments, ladies and gentlemen. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I am pretty open to criticism. But my pet peeve about criticism is when people get on there and criticize something that I'm trying to teach you or that I'm telling you without responding with a solution or with a better idea. And whenever someone just leaves a criticism, I always go back and I ask them to please provide a solution or a better idea to the criticism that they made of whatever it is that I might have said. Now, in the last couple, 2 or 3 videos maybe, I've had 3 comments that fit that description. Now, I'm not calling anyone out, and the people that commented were not trolling. They just left a criticism and said something. I think there was 2 comments on my payday prep saying something about that rebates are a scam, or that you're really not saving any money with rebates and something like that. And I replied back with asking, well, can you let me know how it is that rebates, are BS, or that, you're really not saving any money, that you're really paying for that rebate? And the people that left the comment just deleted their comment. That's not my intention. Whenever I ask for a reasoning behind your logic, it's because I'm really interested in knowing why it is that you think opposite of what I was saying. So I want to make sure that these 2 community members, and hopefully they still are, because I was very polite in my request that they leave an example of why it is that there's something wrong with rebates in the credit cards, so that if I am wrong, that I can learn from them, and that the community as a whole can gain some knowledge from them. So please don't delete your comments. If you leave something that you're critical about, please just provide a solution for that criticism, or provide something that would allow us to learn from that video. All right, so please don't delete your comments, ladies and gentlemen. It's important that we learn from each other. I'm not perfect, and I'm not always right. I'll be the first one to tell you that I'm not always right. All right, and I've learned more from this community than I think that I have shared with the community. So please leave recommendations, suggestions, but mainly if there's something that you disagree with, please leave a reason why you're disagreeing with it so that we can learn from it. There was another comment that, I think it was on the video where I was showing you guys the 4P shooters and telling you guys which one I would choose if I only had one to choose. But the person left a comment on there that said something like, everything that you said in this video is wrong. And then they said something like, for being prior military, pretty much that I didn't know what I was talking about, and that I was informing the community with a lot of wrong things. And especially on that video, I would like to know what it is that I was saying that was wrong. Because if I am putting out information that is not right, I really want to know, and I want the community to know. So please don't delete your comments just because I don't want to say challenge, because I'm not really challenging you. I'm just asking you what is the logic behind you thinking that I said something wrong or I gave out wrong information. If I was wrong, please let me know, and let me know why. That way I can share with the community, or at the least that the community can see the comment that you left saying why they shouldn't listen to what it is that I was saying. All right, so I'm all for that. The one thing that does bother me though, and I'll be upfront with it, and I think I've said it before, is when someone says that this is wrong or that is wrong or you shouldn't do this, but they never provide a solution or a recommendation as to what it is that they would do better. Right. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, the second thing that I want to talk about, not the third thing, the second thing I want to talk about really quick, in the last day or so, I received an email from one of our community members, and thank you very much. If you're listening to this, you know who you are. But he sent me a link to the YouTube channel, Guns and Gadgets, and it's a channel that I've been following for a while as well. And it's a Second Amendment channel, and a little bit of disturbing news came out over the weekend that the state of Alaska has introduced a bill that is a red flag law bill for the state of Alaska. So for those of you that don't know what a red flag law bill is, just putting it in layman terms, it pretty much says that if an authority feels, for whatever reason, that you shouldn't have a firearm or ammunition, that they can come and take your firearm and ammunition without due process, pretty much saying that you have to prove your innocence before you can regain the right to have whatever firearms you had and whatever ammunition you had. So that's just in layman terms. The number or the name of the bill, actually the number of the bill is UB62. So for any Alaskans out there that find this somewhat concerning, I'll leave the link to the state legislature where you can see and read that bill for itself. And I've read the bill, and it's not good, right? It's not good. It pretty much gives the state all the power to come and take away your arms without having to prove that you are guilty. And then you having to go to the state and prove to them that you're innocent or that you are able to have a firearm in your possession. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't talk about this very much, but I just want to leave you with one last thing before I stop talking about this. Look up the word democide. 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 All right. The definition of democide is this, ladies and gentlemen: the murder of any person or people by a government, including genocide, politicide, and mass murder. Ladies and gentlemen, in the 20th century alone, there were over 262 million people that lost their lives to democide. And this is something that is very researchable. Actually, I will leave the link to a very massive research that was done by the University of Hawaii on democide in the 20th century. And you can look at it for yourselves. Now, 262 million people are more people than have ever died in all of the wars combined. And this democide occurred just in one century, in the 20th century. You can agree with me or not agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, but this is the truth. The Second Amendment is not for hunting, and it is not for target shooting. The Second Amendment is to prevent a government to become so powerful that it will democide its people, and its people having no recourse to protect themselves. That's what the Second Amendment is for. Think about all of the people that have been democided in the 20th century. Had they had access to self-defense, it is very easy to round up a population that is defenseless against a government's arms and do whatever you want to that population. That's what the Second Amendment is for. And some people act on this with emotion instead of with common sense. Anyone that's been here for a while, on this channel know that I don't fearmonger. I don't like to act on emotion. And I like to do my research. And ladies and gentlemen, these red flag laws are just another law on the books that they can use to gain more control over us, that they can use to take away our other rights that are protected by the Constitution of these United States. Why is it, ladies and gentlemen, that every time you hear these number of deaths by guns in the mainstream media, they don't follow it up by other numbers of deaths. For example, more people die in car accidents every year. So why don't they take away the cars? More people die from prescription medications every year. More than double the amount of people die from prescription medications every year than gun deaths. Why aren't we doing something about that? A lot more people, I'm talking about in the multiples, more people die every year from malpractice, from medical malpractice. Why aren't people talking about that? But they will talk, these politicians will talk about disarming a population because it fits their agenda. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's in the 200,000+ people die every year from medical malpractice. 70,000, 80,000 people die every year from prescription medications. In excess of 38,000 people died, I believe, in 2019 from automobile accidents. All of those numbers are higher than the people that died from gun deaths. And keep in mind that about 51, 52% of all gun deaths that occurred in 2019 occurred because of suicide. And also keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that there are over 20,000 anti-gun laws on the books right now. With 20,000 gun laws on the books, there should be no gun deaths. If the laws were to stop gun deaths. The reason that the laws cannot stop anyone from being killed with a gun is because, ladies and gentlemen, the laws are written for law-abiding citizens. Only law-abiding citizens will follow a law. And no matter how many laws there are in the books, they can put 1,000,000 laws in the books. A criminal will always be a criminal. And a criminal, by virtue of the word criminal, does not follow the law. These anti-gun laws that pop up in legislation and that sometimes are passed are not passed against the criminals. They are passed against the law-abiding citizens, against those that would abide by that law. It is a tool that they use to slowly but surely disarm a population so that they can have full control over that population and be able to fulfill whatever agenda they want to fulfill. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you had a good ride along, and I hope that you have a good weekend. And I hope you have a little bit of fun seeing some of the tubing that me and Little Miss Alaska Prepper did. And here is myself going up this long hill, as you can see here. And it's actually a beautiful day. Look at that blue sky, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it beautiful? So what happens is you go up this long hill and it pulls you. As you can see, I'm being pulled, or the tube that I'm sitting on is being pulled by that little device there that's sticking out. And then once we get up to the top of the hill, you just let go and hang on for dear life. Oh, there she goes. Oh my goodness. I don't even know if I want to go down this thing.